You know, there's an old saying in Hollywood, go big or go home. And I'm talking about Andrew Stanton right now, the director of Finding Nemo and Wall-E. The guy's an Oscar winner, so when he thinks big. Well, nothing's bigger than Disney's John Carter. I'm telling you, Stanton takes us to so many different places, from the Civil War to Mars. And here's my interview right now with Andrew Stanton. Andrew, welcome to Velvet Red TV. Where were you reading these books? Now, you talk about, reading all of Edgar Rice Burroughs, but where exactly were you?
Well, when I first was introduced, I was over at my friend's house, and they had this attic where all the brothers hung out, and they introduced me to the comic books, and I started just reading the comic books, and then that led me to the books, and I think one of them lent me the book. And then I just remember reading the book at home all the time in my bedroom.
And where do you see the influences in science fiction and action adventure all over?
Well, you see it everywhere. I mean, you realize that from 1912 on, that's many generations, there have been people that have been influenced. So you see it in Superman comics, you see it in Flash Gordon, and then you start seeing it in things like, Star Wars. You even see it all the way to Avatar, and many more things than just that. And to me, it's not that anybody was stealing or robbing or copying. It's just you can see the inspiration. You can see great art inspires great art. I mean, you can look at any movie or listen to any music, and you can kind of tell the elements that maybe influence the growth of that artist. And so I never felt the book was literally done. I always felt like if you did exactly what the book was like to read, it has a real turn of the century, beautiful 1912 romantic, naive sense of adventure that's really special. And I thought, geez, if I'm a kid in 1976 and I can read a 64-year-old book and like it for exactly those reasons, then anybody in 100 years in 2012 is going to have no problem liking it for the same reasons as well.
Well, when you're talking about Mars, you're talking about life on other planets. So where are you, Andrew? Where do you stand on life existing on other planets?
I don't have a stance. I think
Come on, take a stand. Take a stand.
I think subconsciously it's happening because I've made Wall-E and now I've made John Carter, and clearly I do hope there's more out there than what's on this planet. But I don't spend most of my time thinking about it. I'm too busy making movies.
What are the good habits that you were groomed with at Pixar to help you do this live action?
Oh God,
epic?
it's all about story. It's all about character. No matter how great the spectacle is, it's nothing without a good, solid story and character behind it. And the other thing is, don't worry about what the rest of the world may say they want. What got all the movies made at Pixar is that we ignored the rest of the world, ignored what audience demographics are and all that stuff, and we just made the art we wanted to make that we were just driven to do. So I put myself in isolation with some of my favorite people, and we just made the film we wanted to make.
So you made this epic. It took 3 years.
Six,
okay. So over the last 6 years, what are some of the highlights and lowlights of the last 6 years?
Well, there was never any deep, dark moment and then high moment. I think that the hard parts were, the shoot was just really, a physical stamina endurance test. I mean, to shoot for 100+ days in every kind of temperature and weather and on 2 continents. I mean, it was tough. I mean, it was an adventure. But in a weird way, that was also the highlights of it. I mean, I always tried to use this equate it to, you've decided to sail across the ocean, and that's the whole thrill of it. You're going to have monsoons, and you're going to have, really beautiful sunsets, and it's the whole package, and you can't get that adventure any other way. So I got to say, it was both.
It's a great trip at the movies. Andrew, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Real pleasure.
Okay.